I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on GBN, we're exploring a powerful book. It is called Women Who Shine. It is written by one of my favorite authors, one of my favorite guests. Her name is Denise McCormick. It is a powerful, inspirational book packed with transformational stories from women who turned challenges into purpose. Denise is a #1 international best-selling author, success principles trainer, and success mindset coach on a mission to help educators reclaim self-care, confidence, and personal growth. If you're into motivation, mindset, and real-life breakthroughs, this conversation, this book is for you. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us once again here today. We thank the team at Atticus Publishing for helping us put her on TV today. And we ask viewers like you to support authors like her by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing her amazing book. The links are below this interview. Denise, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Well, thank you, Logan. It's just such a privilege to be with you here again today on the Global Book Network.
Great to have you back on the show. Talk to us a little bit about Women Who Shine and the idea to put together this collection of different women's voices.
Well, the book is a series called the Inspired Impact Book Series
Mhm.
with my publisher Kate Butler from Kate Butler Books. And I met her at a Jack Canfield event in 2014, and she just planted a seed in my mind she says, you really need to write your story.
Yeah.
And I did write in Women Who Impact. I wrote about the farm crisis. And then in Women Who Shine, I really wanted to focus on what has gotten me through life, Logan, and that's having a growth mindset.
Hmm.
And that is, in my chapter, I share the story of 6 decades of my life, from growing up with faith and music to 23 years in the classroom as a teacher, to life on a century and heritage farm in Iowa, to walking through some seasons of really deep challenges,
Yeah.
business loss, family grief, caregiving for my husband as he
Hmm.
navigates late stage dementia. So I wanted in this story to show people that you can choose purpose over the pain
Yeah.
in your life. And
Talk to us.
that's what I
I'm
tried to
sorry.
do with this book.
Well,
Go
you've
ahead.
succeeded, no doubt. Talk to us about a growth mindset. How do we adopt one in our own lives? And how would you define a growth mindset?
Well, it's a decision you have to make, especially when you're having a difficult season. And I had decided to adopt a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset where I wasn't sure I could get through it. You say all of the negative things. I did that in my first book, Never Mind the Monkey Mind. I tried to teach children how to
Mhm.
develop this because I learned it very late in life as a Canfield trainer. And so my goal now is to help children, but it's looking at every experience that you have and then asking yourself, what's the blessing in this?
Hmm.
What is this trying to teach me? And how can I grow from this?
Yeah.
And that shift changes everything
Yeah.
because my chapter is about taking responsibility 100%, having resilience, having faith, and then choosing to shine, not because life is easy, because
Hmm.
it's not easy for anyone. Life is hard. So you have to choose
Yeah.
your hard. So I choose to decide to become light in the middle of it.
Exactly. And you're making profound changes in your life even yet. We spoke
Oh,
before the
oh
show that
yeah.
you've just moved into a townhouse, you've
Mhm.
left the farm, you're still in Iowa, but you're embracing this new chapter. You're
Yeah.
looking out the window and you don't see the farm anymore, but
Mm.
instead you see this beautiful body of water out there.
Yes.
So talk to us about the changes you're making in your life and how you embrace them with so much positivity.
Well, when my husband started to have health challenges, we all think that we're going to just enjoy this beautiful retirement, that it's going to be easy,
Mm.
after a life of hard work. But sometimes, Logan, gives us events that we have to decide, okay, this isn't what I thought was going to happen, but this is the reality. So how am I going to embrace this? How am I going to grow from this? We all choose whether we're going to grow from something or we're going to groan about it.
Yeah.
And I just thought to myself, okay, my husband had lived in Iowa City when he went to the University of Iowa. So having dementia, he remembers things from a long ways back. So he would remember that. So we came up here and we lived here for a year in the townhouse. And I got home health care to help him, we with all the medical things that I needed help with. And then right across from us up the hill is a beautiful independent and assisted living facility that happens to have a memory unit. So
Mm,
my strategic plan was to, when he needed to go there to get more assistance, that Polly and I would just be able to walk up the street and be there every day with him. So that's what we're doing. And we have a community of people. We have all kinds of shows and things coming in, and we do this together, and it has made it as good of a retirement as I could have asked for,
yeah.
actually.
Exactly, exactly.
So
I mean, you've done a lot of great things for your husband to empower him,
yeah.
moving back to a town that he was familiar with,
Hmm.
being in more of an urban setting where you
Hmm.
can actually walk to places.
Yes.
Having a memory care right up the block is not a an alternative when you're living at a heritage farm.
No, it
So,
didn't. Yeah. And I didn't, someone said, wasn't it hard for you to leave after 49 years? And I said, well, I've always gone decade by decade and knew that each decade was going to bring a new challenge and a new opportunity.
yeah,
And that's what I wrote about in Women Who Shine, is that if you can see it that way, you can live it that way.
yeah,
But it's what you say to your own mind. And that's the message in my Monkey Mind book. What you say to your mind will then say to you. It all starts with your words, which you have the power to choose. And
yeah,
we don't realize our own power in dealing with things. We only have our response. That's what we have total control over. That's E+R=O with Jack. Any event in life plus your response is going to equal the outcome. So we have a beautiful outcome. I'm having people come up all the time and do
mm,
do things with him there, and I wouldn't have that if I'd stayed on the farm.
exactly.
So
And you had
it,
half a century on the farm.
yeah,
You
and I
know,
had a half a century there, but that those are good memories,
right,
and nobody can take that away, and
right,
nobody can take the success away. So I just have to find a new way to make things happen. And
yeah.
I'm actually going to be doing a program over there um, to share my life and music and my books and everything. So, it just goes on, Logan. It
Yeah.
just keeps moving on.
Exactly. And it definitely is the right mindset. We can't control the things that happen to us in our
Mhm.
lives. We can't control the circumstances. We can
Never.
only control our reactions to them and our responses, as you say. So that is a great mindset to have. Talk to us about shining. What is shining? Is it confidence? Is it purpose? Is it healing? Is it impact? Is it all of that?
I think shining is just deciding you're going to become the light in the middle of the darkness, and that you have the power to dispel the despair of the darkness with the shining of the light.
Hmm.
Um, my husband, when he started to realize that he couldn't remember things the way he used to, you know, I just decided that I was going to be the light for him and just take over things that he did, even though that isn't what I did in my, I was an educator. He was
Mhm.
the finance and the farmer and the businessman there.
Yeah.
But I just believed I think it is a confidence. It's a confidence that you know that the light of God is inside of you, and it's just waiting to shine out
Yeah.
in whatever circumstances if you believe. You have to
Yeah.
have a strong belief. And I've been blessed with, 45 years as a church organist and
Mm.
a singer at weddings and funerals. I've seen the beginning of life where they get married, and I've seen the funerals. And I think it really made an imprint on me that, and I'm actually writing a book about this now, the power of living in the moment.
Mm.
We're not very good at that, Logan, in the United
Right.
States. We're not very good at it. And I think we saw examples of that in the Olympics. I look at Alyssa Liu and I looked at her and I went, there is a girl that knew that she was not living in the moment. She was not feeling the joy of what
Mm,
she had accomplished. And so she stepped back and then she found it again.
mm,
And I think sometimes you have to do that when adversity comes to you. I had to sit down and say, okay, I don't think staying here on the farm is going to work with
yeah,
the challenges that we're facing.
right.
And it didn't take me very long to just call a friend I'd met in a networking group that was a realtor and say, do you have anything in the Iowa City area? And
Mm,
just that week, we found this place, and it was the first place I looked at.
wonderful.
So, yeah,
And Iowa City is wonderful. The
it is.
university's there. It's
University
got
of Iowa,
lots of
yeah,
great energy and
everything.
life,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it's
Yeah.
wonderful. And I'm able to go out with my books and do programs and see children and everything is here. So I just want to tell everyone that whatever you're facing, there is a solution
Mm,
and it's right inside of you. If you just sit quietly and silently listen, because
yeah.
silent and listen have the same letters in them.
Your message in Women Who Shine is specifically towards educators, but it's also to a much broader audience, it seems. Talk to us a little bit about who you hope to reach with your words.
Well, I guess I wanted to share with everyone that change is inevitable in your life. They're going to come up, but growth is optional. And you have to have an awareness that you're going to need to grow in this situation because it's difficult. And so I just always felt from the time I was 13, when I had a tragic accident and lost a best friend, that I developed this growth mindset very early because I decided I was going to make positive choices to honor her life
Mm,
because, she lost her life in a golfing accident. And I was still here and I had been standing right beside her when she got hit.
mm,
And so that's how I processed it with my own life, that I was going to make positive choices. And by the end of my high school year, I was the outstanding leader. And then in 1969, or at age 69, I received the Wall Street Journal Distinguished Leader of the Year.
wow.
And that told me that I had done what I set out to do, and that's to be of service to other people.
Yeah.
Because Logan, that's where you get your joy.
Oh,
That's where the joy
absolutely.
comes from.
Yeah,
And
it's
I
all
think
about
people don't
interactions.
realize that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. I
So
was going, go
go
ahead.
ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to say my chapter is about choosing growth over bitterness,
Mhm,
because I've experienced extraordinary joy, but I've also experienced profound challenge from our farm life and going through 10 years of the farm crisis. And that was my story in Women Who Impact. And then what I discovered is that our power always, always lies in our response.
mm,
And when we shift from, why is this happening to me,
yeah.
to what is this here to teach me? And that's how we shine.
Yeah. Well, that's those are important lessons because,
Yeah.
like you said, we can only be assured of one thing, that life is a constant state of change, that life is difficult, as beautiful as it is and as wonderful it is. There are challenges, there are health challenges, there are
Yep.
financial challenges, all types of challenges that we can't anticipate. And like we said before, you can only control your response. Animals can't. Animals
No,
see a ball, they run
we
for it.
we get yeah, we get that
That
that brain.
momentary
Yeah,
bit of
we
time
do.
to think, even if it's a millisecond,
Yeah.
we choose whether we're gonna do A, B, or C,
Mhm. Yep.
and realizing that the environment doesn't control us, that we're not controlled by circumstances is so empowering. So you talked a little, you looked like you were looking to the left, so you have another note you wanted to talk about
No,
this
I'm
book?
just making sure I said that I wanted, I want one of the core messages I wrote down was taking 100% responsibility isn't blame, it's actually freedom.
Hmm.
Because then when I began teaching responsibility, to first graders and third graders and then to adults, I realized that responsibility actually gives us our power back.
Mm.
And that's what I showed kids in Polly's story, that she found power and joy in life by being a responsible farm dog.
Yeah.
And that made her happy. And that's what kids can do too when they take responsibility and follow what their family and their teachers are teaching them. But the heartbeat of my children's book and the foundation of my chapter in Women Who Shine is um, that everything will shift
Mm.
when you decide to shine.
Yeah.
And it is, I'm not saying it's easy.
Right.
It is a conscious awareness that I have to do and I have to work at. And it doesn't happen overnight, but it is something that when it happens, you're very grateful.
Mm. How important is faith in all of this?
Oh, faith is the rock of it.
Mm.
Yeah, faith is the rock. Um, I was been going through, we were settling a state after my husband left farming, and those can be challenging. And that's
Mhm.
another thing that I will be writing to is ways that you can navigate that. What I did, Logan, was knowledge is always power. And I took a high conflict negotiation coaching course to
Mm.
deal with it during that time because I thought, well, when I get through it, then maybe I can help somebody else through it. Because there's always that in everything I do, and maybe it's the teacher in me,
Mhm.
it's, if I can learn to do it, then I can teach somebody else to do it.
Right.
And so that's kind of how the E+R equals O works for me.
Yeah.
Because yeah, and I worked with a wonderful woman who's written some beautiful books, Negotiate Like You Matter and Slay the Bully, and it just teaches you how to deal with high conflict uh, things in your life.
Yeah.
And I've added that to my coaching now.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Before
Yeah.
we leave you today, there's a term you've used a couple of times, and in case the audience at home has questions about it, I want you to explain it a little bit. E+R equals O. Talk to us about what that means, what each letter means.
Okay, E. E stands for events in your life. And we all have different events happening every day to
Mhm.
us. Plus R, that's your response. There's where your power lies. There's where your control lies. And no one can take your response away from you. And that will equal the O, which is the outcome. And
Wonderful.
I've been reading powerful books, especially books that, people that have been in really tough situations like surviving Auschwitz or,
Mm.
Dr. Edith Eger's book on that. And people that have gone through really hard things, but have chosen to shine through them, to
Mm.
see the light through their faith and through their belief that they were going to get through that. And Eleanor Roosevelt, I'll leave you with this
Sure.
quote, has a great quote. You gain strength, confidence, and courage by every situation where you must stop and look fear in the face.
Mm.
You say to yourself, I've lived through a horror before. I can take the next thing that comes along. You must do what you think you cannot do. And that's what I say to myself when something comes up. I go, okay, here we go.
Yep.
Now you can do this. You'll get strength, confidence, and courage by approaching it like I can do this and not
Wonderful.
letting fear stop you. Because
Wonderful.
FEAR, face everything and rise, or forget everything and run. And that's the choice we have every day.
Rise, don't run.
Rise,
If-
don't run.
Depending on the circumstance, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, without a doubt. Wonderful. Well, this book is great. It is called Women Who Shine. And if you're ready for inspiration, mindset breakthroughs, and real self-care strategies, this is one you'll want to put on your list. Denise, thank you so much for joining me here today.
Thank you, Logan. I loved being here.
Loved having you on the show. Always appreciate your insight and your thoughts. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford for the Global Book Network. So long for now.